Welcome back to Walsall Fan TV, the joy and the pain. Plenty of pain. We're getting a bit more joy this season. Today, I'm talking to a guy who was a big impact on Sadler's last season, the one and only Dan Watson. Hi, Dan. Thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
We've at Walsall made a super start to the season, haven't we?
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Like I say, being from the town, it's great to see. I think your opening line there, paying, and I don't think there's a lot of that at the minute. I think you're having a lot more joy, which is great, and for everybody who's been going up and down the country supporting the club.
Yeah, it's great. I think we're getting a few goals from set pieces, but it was last season the sort of transformed Walsall. There's a bit of a joke that used to go around at Walsall where it's like, oh, well, Walsall have got a corner. Excellent. I've got time to get to the loo, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I hope we don't concede. We've got a corner, that kind of thing. And that sort of transformed. You had a big part in the set pieces last season. Where did you get all your ideas from for that? And how did you get all that message across for us to do so well from set pieces?
So I was under a manager, Keith Curl, which I'm sure everybody knows. And Keith was really sort of out there with set pieces. And I learned so much from Keith. Keith was probably one of the first managers that would go 1-for-1 at the back with an attacking corner. He would be like, well, we've got the ball syndrome, so it's their problem. And I obviously had so Keith would do the set pieces, and then I would obviously then sort of have the folder on a match day and make sure everybody was in the correct position. So I sort of retained a lot of that information with, obviously I was with a few clubs with Keith. So I retained a lot of that information. And then to be fair to Sads was great and he supported me. And the key is having the support from the manager to be able to do the set pieces and the attacking set pieces, and then the buy-in from the lads. And then it kind of snowballed as we got one, then it kind of was falling into most weeks we were scoring off a set piece at some stage, and that's credit to Sads having the trust in me to allow me to do it, the backing, because I think it was about 4 games at one point we didn't score, and I remember getting on the bus and Gary and Sads were there and Daz, and I remember going, look, if you want to change it, I have no problem. And they all just kind of looked at me. I think we were sort of second in the whole country at that point for set pieces. And they all looked at me as, because obviously it was, well, we haven't scored for 4 games. And it was like, if you want to change it and someone else have a go at it. And they all looked at me like I'd gone mad. So, yeah.
Well, that's modest, very modest of you. Do they still do the uncontested set plays then?
So on a Friday, what we used to do was, it was obviously, it was attacking set plays, it was defending set plays. Now, I used to do it unopposed. One, just through simple, didn't want anyone to get injured or anything like that. Because what you don't want on a Friday sort of dinner time is a concussion problem or a dead leg. Yeah, anything like that. So you tend to do them unopposed and sort of, as long as the lads were hitting the right areas and the delivery and sort of, that, then obviously we'd do it that way. Now and again, I'd throw a defender in if they were sort of a zonal sort of marking team against that. But most of the time it was unopposed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's quite weird, really. But I suppose it makes sense. It makes sense to sort of prepare protection against injuries and that sort of thing. Yeah, I'm not sure whether this was before your time, actually. There's one particular set play that I thought was quite a weird one. It was at Wickham in the Cup.
Right.
And what's his name? The lad now, the young lad. I forgot his name now. But it seemed like we'd sort of made a wall halfway across the box. And they all held their ground. It went over to him unmarked. What's his name now? The guy, Forest Green. He went to Forest Green.
Oh, Knowlesy.
not Knowles. No, it was the I forgot his name now. I should have been doing this live. I'd have had people putting stuff in. But anyway, yeah, he didn't really. He was on the fringe of the first team. I forgot his name now.
No, you've got me. I'm glad I was remembered because I was there. But
yeah, he scored. He scored from a corner. He was on his own at the back post.
Yeah, well, you kind of work like kind of blocks, and the only difficult part on a pose when you're doing set plays is you're trying to just get the person to block, and obviously they're not blocking anybody, but it's just the movements that you're trying to work on really when you're practicing it. So, and the delivery.
Quite a clever old game there.
Yeah. Well, again, it's looking at how they defend set plays, who they're strong, because 9 times out of 10 you'll get their best header come against your best header. So sometimes you'll sacrifice your best header and take him to the near post and go and work it around the back post.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of trying to be cuter than the opposition, really.
That's it, and it's trying something a little bit different, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah.
But it was a big shock when you left at the end of last season, and there's been lots of rumours about what happened. As is always the case, people talk about sort of like, oh, there's been a big falling out and all that kind of business. But I don't think that was quite the case, was it?
No, and I'll set the record straight now. There was no falling out. It was totally my decision. I had another year left on my contract. Obviously, I'm still good pals with Sads now and speak to him and Gary and Daz. So there was basically I just had some business interests that I needed to do. Like I said, I was going into 9 years of first team football. I travelled up and down the country, and I've got a young family, 3-year-old daughter to obviously a 16-year-old lad that kind of, I think Troy Deeney did an article once and he said he didn't know about his lad's GCSEs or what he was doing. And it kind of stuck with me in my head a little bit because I didn't. And I kind of thought, now, football, you tend to not get the option of, I'll have a break and then I'll come back into it. I know, that if you come out of it, that might be it. And especially coming out of your hometown club was a massive decision, and there was no pressure from my wife or nothing like that. But I just thought I needed that time to recharge the batteries, and whether you get that next opportunity, in 6-12 months' time, who knows? But at the minute, I'm enjoying a little bit of a sort of a shall we say a stay-at-home dad. I'm enjoying. I do the Welsh FA. I do their sort of international camps, which I'm enjoying.
Yeah.
And then who knows what comes in the future? Whether that opportunity comes back, or I feel like I needed to refresh myself and have that time to be a dad. Most importantly.
I think it is very intense. Obviously, even Klaus season. Like, I noticed this with running the channel. It's like I'm only doing sort of like fan chat and that sort of stuff. But I mean, it's never ending, isn't it? It's sort of very intense. I think one thing that sort of sparked things a little, Ben Boycott said you'd left to go and join the family business.
Now, listen, and I'm sure Ben just probably got the wires crossed with that. There was no family business. There wasn't that. It was a business interest, so there was something that I needed to do. And me, is that
something you want to share with us? What was that you're looking at?
No. That's something that doesn't need to go there. It's something totally different to football. But me being me is, if you're in football, you've got to be all in it, and you can't sort of dip your toe in and think, well, I'll get to the training ground for 9 o'clock. I'll do my bit with the goalkeepers. I'll do my set plays, and then I'll get out the door, because them days of one aren't there because there's afternoon sessions, training sessions. I mean, to be fair to Sads is the first person in that building and was the last out. He would not leave that building until everybody had done what they needed to do, and that's what his staff followed, because we all, as I say, as a member of staff, that's what you need to do. You need to be there. You need to be 110% in it. And I kind of needed to do this sort of, this other. I needed to do it, and I've done it.
Yeah.
And like I said, now it's kind of the batteries are recharging and getting close to recharge. And who
So
knows?
we might have you back at some point then.
Well, who knows? Like I say, my pal, I got, Dan Steele's a great guy who took my role. I actually sort of was a big influence on him coming to the club from Cheltenham.
Yeah.
Because I kind of know his character and how he would fit in with the staff that are there. So, who knows? Who knows what the future brings? Who knows?
Matt Sadler is clearly a very intelligent and very composed guy. Quite a difference to Mike Flynn, like chalk and cheese, weren't they?
You could say that. You could say that. I mean, Sads is a great guy, great guy, and I know sort of last year when there was kind of people, let's call it the jury was out, and we could see what he was trying to achieve, and I knew what he was trying to and how he was managing the staff, because he made us feel $1 million. He always had time for you, always had time, and we're all human. We all have problems. We all have issues, and he was always that guy that had the time to talk to you, coming in, shut the door, have a coffee. Forget the football. What's the problem? What's his? And he was brilliant at it. And you can see why he's getting the rewards now, because he's just a real genuine guy. And I'm so pleased that he's doing so well. He deserves it, because, like I say, there's no stone unturned with it. And I remember when Michael Brown, I was with him at Port Vale. He got his first job. It's such a difficult thing to get your first job and be successful with it and stay in it, because Michael Brown did it and it didn't work for him. And obviously that they say, don't you, if you fail at your first one, you
you're in trouble. Just lost the sound a little bit there. While we're getting back on in a sec. You there?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, that was Matt Sadler ringing me now.
How was it? He's not watching the show. We're not gotten the full live on this one.
Probably wants to tell me off. No, I can see why he's getting the rewards now, because he's just he's a real good guy. Like I say, he's no stone unturned with the detail, and he's probably got. And I know how he operates. I know the environment he breeds there. He's got everybody who wants to come in and be part of it, and that's the environment that he brings. Obviously, Flinny, I still speak to Flinny now. Again, just a different way of managing. That's his style.
He's a heart on the sleeve guy, and he might Flynn.
Yeah, and you know what? They're both wear the heart on the sleeve, but they just probably both present it in different ways, and that's their way of managing.
Players wise, Owen Evans, season before last, he'd been absolutely superb for us. Last season, what sort of went on with him? Because he just sort of went off big style, didn't he?
Yeah, and, it was a difficult one. I think with Evo, I think he got offered a contract. I don't get involved in the contracts. I've always said from day one of me being the goalie coach, what contracts and lengths and monies, etc. I do not get involved. That's not
keep
my.
Out of that. Don't blame you.
That's nothing to do with me. That's up to them. And I think he got offered a contract. I'm not sure he was too happy with it. Now Evo, another great lad, bit of a deep thinker. Maybe it affected him from a mental state. I don't know. Obviously, there was a massive sort of that you could see there was an issue with him. Obviously, and it was. I mean, even now, I look and he's gone to Cheltenham, and is he the same guy? I don't know. I've not watched. I've not been and looked. It's a shame because he was sort of, he was a fan's favourite. He was a big part of the setup, and he was playing really well to them. But that just shows that's the nature of goalkeeping. You're 1 minute you're the hero, next minute you can be the villain, and it's such a difficult position to keep consistency. That obviously I look at it and I think with Evo is when Jacko came in. probably what you probably get at the level of Division 2 is you normally get your outright number one, and then you get a number two that you pretty much know is not going to be of the level to maintain being a number one. And then it's like the tide turned a little bit. You know, Jacko became sort of a bit of a fan's favourite, was playing well, had that bit of a character engagement with the fans, and obviously that can have an effect on you. You know, that's a fact. When the other guy comes in and does well and keeps his shirt, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm out of contract at the end of the season. Where's this one going to end? So
well, I think Jacko had come in and done well, and then Matt Sadler put Owen Evans back in, and it felt like a strange decision for him to go back in because of how well Jackson had been playing. And in that game, Owen Evans had a shocker.
But I mean, I think you have to then flip it and give credit to the loyalty of what Sads did there. You know, he was, you know, he'd not forgotten that Owen had been brilliant for him. You know, and he wanted to show that loyalty within that decision, and we know it was going to be, you know, kind of fans would have maybe how do I say it? You know, an opinion on it. That's fine. That's what you pay your money for. Everyone's entitled to that. But I think within the sort of then what Matt was trying to put the sort of the signal across to the group is, you know, the loyalty aspect of Jacko's done brilliant, and we know Jacko had done brilliant, but he also wanted to show to Owen that he you know, he is loyal, and he will, you know, sort of play the loyalty card with his players.
Yeah, I was a bit nervous with because this season obviously had a lot of injuries at the back. Harry Williams had come in, done excellent, and then Donovan Daniels is now fit. I was thinking, you're not going to just throw him back in the way we're playing. That would be madness. And he's not. Well, last season he did, and it was a mistake, I think.
I mean, you say a mistake. I mean, Donovan Daniels is a vastly experienced centre half. Who? How do I look at it? Should Donovan be at the level? You know, when Donovan's on his A game, then, you know, I don't think there's a better defender in the league than obviously the skip. But again, you know, he's showing the loyalty to your captain, to the guys that have been there through thick and thin. And let me tell you, like, Donovan had played through. Donovan shouldn't have been on the pitch at some games. He was, you know, barring his legs hanging off left, right, and centre. He was playing through a lot of injuries, and that was the, you know, the determination he wanted to show. That he wanted to show to the manager, to the fans, to the club, that, you know, if there was, you know, other players that could play, he wouldn't have played, and he did, and that's a credit to Donovan, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think this season we've got a much better squad, haven't we?
It's depth. That's the key. We all know we're not daft. We all know where the budgets sit in Division 2, and we're not a Wrexham with a bottomless pit, shall we say, and can go and get 22 players, you know, that are all going to be happy sitting there on the money that they want and all that. We know. I mean, and listen again. I look at the recruitment. People, it's a big gamble when you fetch people out of non-league football to come in, and I think they've got it bang on.
Yeah, you know, well, Jamie Jelly's, Connor Barrett, been awesome, haven't they?
Unbelievable. They've been a main part of your wins, and you think fair play to the model that they've put in play, and they were putting it in last season to, you know, to fetching these little gems out of non-league football. You know, credit to them again.
Well, I was at the fans forum last night, and Ben Boycott was talking about previously the managers had their agent groups, but now we sort of look into a wider pot for analysis, and that's how we targeted Jellis and Barrett. So we're definitely looking in the right way, and I think Walsall are more prepared now if we were to go up, sort of in a position where we could sustain it, and with the depth of the squad we've got now. We've got protection against that. Of course, early part of the season, we had like eight first teamers out injured, and we're still putting out a very strong team and strong bench as well. Like the fact that we've got Evan Weir is not even getting on the bench, but whenever he's played, he's looked awesome. Apart from Wimbledon away, he got caught out a little bit, but other than that, he's been very good. So it's all positive.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
So for yourself, you say you're enjoying the break. I understand exactly how you feel with that. I've sort of taken a break from sort of my sort of stuff, and I'm sort of thinking, do I want to go back anywhere else? I don't know whether I do. So it's one of them. So it's good to regroup. And family's important, isn't it? And
absolutely
keeping that link.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dan, it's been brilliant to get the update from you, and we're wishing you well. And we'll look out for you on Twitter for where you're going to crop up next. But of course, we would all welcome you back at Walsall if that worked. And
appreciate
maybe even in League One. Who knows?
Who knows? Up the Saddlers.
But as just for Walsall and for life, it's about the joy and the pain. Everything, we have challenges, and it's how we respond to them. And,
absolutely.
So we're good. Keep yourself well.
I will. Good to speak to you all.
Brilliant. Nice one. Cheers, matey. Bye,
mate. Bye.